G'day, doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. It's the Dogfathers Keys to victory. It's round 15, South Sydney versus Bulldogs. It's Origin week, so the Origin players are missing. We're going to talk about all the key stats. I've got a heap of different stats to consider that have been researched by my data man, D, and he has provided a heap of stuff for us to look at between these two historical rivals in South Sydney and the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, we're going to also look at the team lists, what we expect to happen. I'm going to talk a little bit about the fact that Campbell Graham can actually play this match, which is an absolute abomination of the rules of rugby league. But anyway, we will carry on. It's a big, big game on Sunday. We've got Matty Burton, Stephen Crichton, Kurt Mann, Maxi King, all playing State of Origin next Wednesday night, so they're unavailable. Latrell Mitchell is the only South Sydney player who has been selected. We'll get to the team lineups. We'll look at all the key important stats, and I'll give you the way that I think this game will be won but all lost by the Bulldogs. So let's get to it. So we have the team stats here for everyone to see. It's 48 matches played in the NRL era. It's the Bulldogs 25 wins from 48 matches versus the South Sydney Rabbitohs 22. One game has been drawn. We will look at it. The last two meetings, the Dogs won the Good Friday clash this year in front of a record crowd of over 65,000 people, defeating the Rabbits 32 points to nil, and a game where I've never seen Latrell Mitchell look so lost and void of ideas on how to win a match of rugby league. In saying that, I felt Jack Whiten, who is back in time to play for this return match, played very, very well on that night. The previous match was a match the Dogs should definitely have won, potentially cost us a top 5 spot. And the very fact that Jared Sutton handed that match to the Rabbits with the way that he adjudicated some of the stuff before halftime probably cost us a top 4 spot in the run home, the way that I see it. This year, the Rabbits are travelling with 6 wins and 13 losses. They could well and truly have been on like 3 wins. They've been pretty gritty and won a couple of games that they should not have won, in my opinion. The Dogs on top of the ladder with 10 wins from the 12 games. The Rabbits 6 wins and 7 losses. Points scored. You can see those stats travelling across the bottom of the screen. But the Dogs in points scored are currently sitting 6th in the competition on 306 versus the Rabbits on 223 are sitting 16th. Points conceded, the Rabbits are 11th with 305, and we are the best defensive side, conceding 214. Completion rates, the Rabbits slightly better than the Dogs, and tackle efficiency, ours is slightly better than the Rabbitohs. Our average score is 25 points scored, 17 against, versus 17 scored and 23 against for the Bunnies. Average play the ball speed, about the same. Wins at this venue, the Dogs sitting at 54% and the Rabbits at 56%. With wins overall in the NRL era, the Bulldogs 49% of matches, a stat which is going back up again rapidly, versus the South Sydney Rabbitohs at 44%. Let's look at the teams lists, and we have Jai Gray coming back in. He was the Daily M leader at the start of the season. He is back to fullback. Alex Johnston back in the team, looking for that elusive 213 tries. He's over the 200 now. Jack Whiten on the left, playing left centre, and the captain, Isaiah Tass, playing on the other side with Tyrone Munro, who's back from injury. There's Jaden Sullivan, who's played his best footy under Wayne Bennett at 5'8", and Jamie Humphreys, the Manly discard that has done a really good job in South Sydney colours. The forward pack, very experienced forward pack for the Rabbits. As I get this team list back up for you, and it's Jai Arrow, who is more of a second rower or a lock, starting in the front row with Keon Kalamatangi, who is also an edge back rower playing in the middle. They've gone for a much more mobile starting pack. I think there may be a chance that there are a couple of changes for the start of this match. We have Ewan Aiken, who obviously a centre turned edge back rower, and Tallis Duncan, who can play edge or lock. Lachlan Hubner, who followed Wayne Bennett down from the Dolphins, is a real workhorse in the lock position. And then obviously the up and coming Davey Moali, a mobile middle, Sean Kepi, one of their biggest blokes, and obviously Tavita Totola, who is their first hit up guy coming off the bench. Liam LeBlanc is the other player in the 17. They also have named Ryan Gray, Campbell Graham, which is an abomination, Lewis Dodd, the Englishman, who apparently is on about 600 grand a season, Fletcher Myers, and the trusted back rower Jacob Host. Obviously, the captain is Wayne Bennett. Now, the fact that Campbell Graham was pulled out of Origin selection due to his unavailability due to injury. The fact he's named to potentially play this match is disgraceful, knowing he would likely be the 18th man and only there to cover if there was an injury. Instead, the 19th man in Matt Burton is now the 18th man for New South Wales, who looks like he will sit on the bench again as a fresh reserve for his beloved state for the fourth or fifth time, which means he's collected close to $150,000 without playing a game of Origin. So there you go. Connor Tracy, the fullback. So the changes to the Bulldogs side. Blake Wilson goes to that right wing for Jacob Carraz. Carraz moves to right centre to cover Stephen Crichton. Cherry in his same spot at left centre. Marcello Montoya outside him. Locky Galvin moves to start at 5'8". There is talk that he may go back to the bench and Haywood may start in the sixth position, but I'm pretty sure that this won't occur. I believe they will give Galvin the opportunity to have a run starting in that side with Toby Sexton at 7. Josh Curran moves from the right edge into Max King's role as the first hit-up man, the long-minute prop. Reed Marnie in his hooking role as usual. Daniel Saluka Fafita as the main hit-up guy. The smaller minute big boy on the Bulldogs rotation. Kickow, the captain at left edge where he always plays. Preston returns from his suspension of 4 weeks to take his place on the right edge. Bailey Hayward has been starting at lock the last few weeks, which is good for him to get him that early burn. And he is playing the role of the Jamin Salmon in the side at the moment, although it is very likely he will spend time in the hooking role towards as the season progresses. Jake Turpin comes in as that small lock role to cover for Kurt Mann, who is playing State of Origin. Harry Hayes and Lipoi Hopoi continue to their roles as first and second replacement of the middle forwards interchange, and Curtis Moran to take his spot back on the bench as the next man up. There is a chance they could play the likes of Blake Taff in the 17 role, whilst it seems that a lot of commentators were puzzled by the fact that the Dogs could play Bailey Haywood or Kurt Mann in the 14 role and have Galvin in the 17 role as if it was some brand new thing or allowance they were doing just to get Galvin into the side. The Bulldogs, for 90% of their matches this season, have had a small number 14, either a Kurt Mann or a Bailey Haywood, and a number 17 in the shape of a Bailey Haywood or a Blake Taff. So this is what we need to see. That it's business as usual. Really, there's only one sort of small lock. Curtis Moran can play that player that can take it to the line and throw the ball out the back of shape. He's done it plenty of times. Did it for the Maoris this year. Um, so he can do that role. He's not really suited to play in the centres or anything like that, but I'm sure he could play that 13 role on his head. Turpin could play in the halves if required, as can Bailey Hayward, which sort of gives them that variation. Expect Reid Marnie to play 80 minutes this week. Others that could come into consideration, obviously, Anari Tuala, if we lose anyone from the centres, although he's only his second game back, and to me doesn't look like he is ready, in my opinion. Samuel Hughes, obviously always a chance to get included into this side. He is still overcoming his injury and getting his minutes up in New South Wales Cup, named to start there. Luke Smith is continues to be one of the next guys in line for a position, keeps working hard, playing on the edge in New South Wales Cup. And Jonathan Sewer, who spent some time at fullback last week in New South Wales Cup, but also played in the centres and on the wing, all on the one day in the 34-all draw with Western Suburbs. So, look, it is a very competitive game, this one. The South Sydney Rabbitohs are close to full strength, one would have to say. Only losing really, they're obviously missing their captain, um, who's been out all season, and they're missing Cody Walker, and they're also missing Latrell Mitchell. So Cameron Murray, Cody Walker, and Latrell Mitchell are probably worth close to $2.8 million between them. So it is a fair chunk of their best players that are out. But in saying that, the Bulldogs are missing their captain in Stephen Crichton, Max King, their number one hit-up man, Matt Burton. We all know his importance, and we are always a better side with Kurt Mann in it, as we saw with his footwork and the great try that he scored last week. So lots for us to digest there. So let's look at some players to highlight. I want to do a highlight on Harry Hayes. He's having a great season. He's built up to 102 kilos, a 23-year-old from Mooroonga, New South Wales. His junior club, the Entrance Tigers. He's played 20 games now. And in the 2025 season, he's had 11 runs, scoring his first try last week, which is a brilliant try we must see. He's only had the one offload this season. He's tackling at 92.2% efficiency in the middle of the field. Played a little bit on the edge in a couple of games. He's averaging 111 metres off the bench and 43.3 average fantasy points. Some of the great things that we're seeing from Harry Hayes, he's a winner. He carries an overall record of 14 wins and 6 losses since coming into the side at a 70% win rate. He scored 2 tries, 1 line break, 2 offloads, tackles at 92%. He's averaged 90 metres over his 20-game career, but obviously that's going up and up and up. This season, 92%, obviously, 111 metres, and he's doing everything right. He's even running it off the kick returns, and just been an absolute revelation off the bench for us. As I said, he's had 2 games of his 11 in the second row where he's had to cover. So very, very impressive. The line speed, the play the ball speed, it's all been relative, and it's all been very, very good for Harry Hayes in the way that he's gone about his business. So very, very impressive for Harry Hayes. Let's also look at Locky Galvin, which we might as well do. He's 190 centimetres, 85 kilos, and look at him. He's got a lot of growing to do, this kid. He's played 32 matches in first grade. He scored 6 tries. For this season, he's played 11 games with 2 tries. He's had 5 forced dropouts, averaging 175 metres with his kicks, 8 try assists, 5 line break assists. 17 offloads, which is quite good for the 11 games. He's tackled at 86% efficiency, which isn't too bad as for a half, averaging 116 meters, which is great for a runner. He has done a very, very good job. And look, he has played the 32 matches, winning 11 and losing 21. Obviously, lost 21 games with the West Tigers in 2025. He played the 10 matches this year for a 5-win, 5-loss record, which is very, very good from where the West Tigers have been at. Um, so that's pretty much his stats there. He only ran for 36 meters for the Dogs on the weekend this season. For West Tigers, he's averaged 128 meters as a runner, and he's averaging 50 points in the fantasy world, which is pretty good for a kid who's only 19 years of age. Obviously, had a lot of ball at the West Tigers, given a lot of run and free reign. Um, the missed tackles thing is the worry always. He's been targeted in quite a few matches, and he's stood up to it mostly, but averaging about 3 to 4 missed tackles per game. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes in his first run on start at the Bulldogs. We really got to see him last week, in that last 20 minutes. Parramatta were starting to wane. They were starting to feel the heat. They had really suffered a lack of possession and field position. They also had the scoreboard pressure slightly being a couple of points behind. And when this kid come on, his speed to the line, his accuracy of passing, where he was putting the ball for people to run onto, it was all precision. His support play enabled him to score a try, and it all went really well. But obviously, there was a lot of strategy there. Everyone was involved, from the fullback to the halfback to the 6 to the 9 and everyone else in between. There's a really great team effort, and Lachlan Galvin played his part for that 20 minutes. He's obviously not going to get it his own way from the start of this match, and we'll need to do a lot of work in defence as well. So we'll see how that has an effect on his overall game and whether he can last the 80 minutes, which he should, considering he's done it on 10 previous occasions this season. So that's Locky Galvin. We'll also look at some others. So let's look at Jacob Preston. He makes his return, the 189 centimetre, 100 kilo back rower. He's a junior from Belrose Eagles. He's played 46 matches. Seems like he's played a lot more. Only 8 appearances this year, but all been quality. He's scored 5 tries. He's had 4 line breaks, 3 line break assists, just as importantly. 4 offloads, tackling at nearly 96% efficiency. He's a real animal. Running for 99 meters, that's quite good for an edge back rower. He's out there, and his fantasy points are high at 60 per game, and he's one that many super coach people will bring back into their side this week. His overall career, he's averaging 96% tackle efficiency, 91 meters. If you look at his year by year stats, it's all increasing. Meters gone up to 99 for this season. His tackle efficiency has remained strong around the 96% mark. Offloading's not huge, but he continues to make line breaks at a very good rate. And his involvement in everything from the attack to the defense, with the ball, without the ball. This guy is all energy. He is all aggression. He is all class. And he adds so much to our pack. It has been missed, and we really need him out there. He gets to slot in seamlessly with Sexton and on that right edge. Obviously, Jacob Carraz coming in, and Wilson, they've all played right edge all season. So Perez moves into the middle, and Wilson takes his place again on the right wing. We're going to need that, you know, whether it's kicks for Jacob Preston, whether it's having him run the decoy and stripping defenders off others. In attack, he is so important to us in the variation that he offers. Josh Curran did a really good job there, but Jacob Preston just gives us a whole new level and brings another dynamic. And Carraz is going to do a good job in that centre position, even though our captain Stephen Crichton is not there. Having Carraz is so important for the balance of that back line. To have Cherry and Carraz take over that role is very important to our chances. And they're going to be up against a really tough battle in Jack Whiten, and I expect that Tass will push out onto the wing, and Campbell Graham will actually play on that right edge. And both those two are very capable defensive centres. And so the importance of kick out and Preston in helping Cherry and Carraz do their thing is going to be very, very important. But it's an area I think we can win. I think it'll be the sternest of competition for our boys, but I think they can overcome it. And I think there's enough class between Galvin and Sexton with the assistance of Reed Marnie and Connor Tracy. That spine can do some special things this week, and I think they will. But that's what I'll be looking. Now, there's some obviously we come up against Wayne Bennett's coach side. He has a win record of 582 wins at a 61% record, losses 354. And this season he's at 6-7. But definitely want to look at the different statistics. Cameron Serrato's statistics are improving every single day. Basically, he's at 20 in the last two seasons, so you don't count the first season. Serrato's at 25 wins and 11 losses from 36 matches. Round 6 last year in our loss to the Storm, where I felt we were the better side. Gideon Katonga, as I've mentioned many times, doesn't get a hand on Pole. Sean Blaw, who scores that try to win the match for the Storm. It was a big turning point, though, in our season, I believed. And from that point on, basically, Serrato's coaching record has been 30 games for 23 wins and 7 losses, which is very, very good. Against Souths, he is at a win and loss record of 2 wins and 2 losses. He's never lost to Wayne Bennett. Never lost to Wayne Bennett, as far as he's currently 3 wins and 0 losses in coaching against Wayne Bennett. It's his 69th game for you 69er fans. Now, there's also some other stats for us to look at, and you'll see them scrolling along. It is the Daniel Saluka Fafita Cup. He is the most recent player to play for the Bulldogs, having previously played for the Bunnies. Obviously, Blake Taft being from the Bunnies as well. He was playing off the bench when South beat the Bulldogs 50-16 in 2023, when we were severely impacted, and Paul Alamotti had a really tough day in defence, having to move from the centre to the wing. And this year he played against South Sydney in the 32-0 shutout of that team. Jacob Carraz has had the most games played of any Bulldog against South. He's had 5 games against the Rabbits. And obviously Burton and King have played 6 each against the Rabbits. But Carraz is the guys played this bunny side the most of all the players in our team as Bulldogs. So lots of stats to look at there. So where is this game going to be won or lost? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the Bulldogs and the disharmony and all the crap, which you'll see in another video when I talk about Eamon Tiernaman from Fox, the Ranger Grub. But anyway, look out for that video. It's not far away. But we have Locky Galvin in the spine with our Reed Marnie, Toby Sexton, and Connor Tracy. Saw some good footage of Connor Tracy in the try that we got, where he passed inside to kick out. Connor Tracy pinpoint speaks to Matt Burton, obviously calls the play. The play before, Manny drifts to the right hand side as an option. They just take a hit up down the edge. He stays on the right hand side, then sprints out the back across to the left, where he receives the ball from Galvin. Um, Obviously goes to Tracy. Hickow runs the decoy. They were sliding big time. Tracy takes the space, gets to the outside of Moses, big palm to the face, and the inside ball to Kickow, who was waiting, just waiting for that ball to come. It was a set move called by the fullback Connor Tracy, and everyone, including Galvin, Burton, all did their part, with Toby Sexton getting the ball to Galvin quickly from the deck, which was very, very good play. Now, the fact that those players, except for Burton, will be there, they will know that they've got those types of plays in them. I do expect to see a really good battle there at a core. Souths haven't won a day game yet, but playing at a core at 4 p.m. in this time of year is bordering on nighttime footy anyway, with sunset not too far after that. What we will have, even though Souths haven't won a day game yet, the Bulldogs are undefeated in day matches for 2025. I do expect there to be some good play from both sides. There's a lot of effort players out there that are getting some good form behind them. Obviously, Jack Whiten will be better for the run. Keon Kalama-Tungi's playing well. Alex Johnson, they'll be trying to get him some points. I feel the kicking games will be important. Jaden Sullivan will be a real danger through the middle of the field. Humphreys is quite the general. Reminds me a little bit of Lachlan Lewis, to be honest, but probably a little bit more polished in his halfback work and knowledge, from what I can tell. Defensively, not quite as good, but goes all right. He's a solid fella, well built, and adored by the females, apparently, when he takes his shirt off. I expect Reid Marnie to go out there and have a really big game. These guys are the talk isn't going to put them under any pressure at all. This isn't a audition for who gets to play with Burton in the Penrith match. This is simply another game of rugby league for the Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs. Another test on our depth. The last time our depth was tested was against the Dolphins. This time, getting Preston back, the addition of Galvin does give us that extra attacking ability. That is for sure. And I really expect the players to go to a new level this week, to really get around each other. And whilst you would expect there could be some clankiness, not having Burton there, Galvin is the type of kid who's very, very fit. He's fast. You expect that he's going to be there on the ball when he needs it. And I expect that Marnie will give a lot of ball to Sexton, but I think there will be, if Galvin calls the footy, Marnie's going to put it in his hands. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. The kicking game, you'd expect that Reid will help with that out of dummy half from time to time. I think we can really expose Sevilla Havili. Not the best hooker in the world, more of a fill-in, which is why the Rabbits will be chasing any good hookers on the market. They've got Brandon Smith coming in, obviously, who's with that side now, but I think they'll go after anyone that they can get that is of good quality. I think that's where they see they have an issue. I don't think Mamazoulis is the answer to that club. In saying that, we have lots of people that can cover in our spine and in our halves in this match. Our utility service well. Lots of players that are happy to go the grind for 80 minutes. I expect this will be a close match. I do believe tries will be scored through the middle, and the Rabbits will be looking to build momentum to be staying in the hunt as much as us. I think they will attempt to grind with us. I don't think there'll be too much enterprising play, lots of bombs, lots of competing. I expect they're going to compete hard and go hard. They were embarrassed last time they played us, and I do believe that there will be a lot of contested possessions which can lead to points. Um, Humphreys has the ability to get some little chips over for the likes of Johnson in the corner. They're a steady side. They're not the fastest side. If Munro does play, he's very dynamic and one that they'll try to utilise. Bringing Blake Wilson in does give us that brilliance on the edge, and I think Jacob Carraz can obviously provide that second phase play. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how we kick our and Locky Galvin combine defensively. That could be an area where the Rabbits try to strip us of numbers in the way of getting Kickow involved in a lot of defensive work to try and isolate Galvin at different points. But it also could mean that they, try to bring Kickow infield a little bit as well through the way that they play their game. There's a lot there that they can target as far as a game plan, but I think our Bulldogs will be ready for it. I think that Serrato's had the right game plan for every match that we've played this season. Even the Dolphins game, I felt that game plan was the right one. It just didn't. We just weren't able to maintain that possession. Our game is built off possession. It dares clubs to go set for set with us, and I think Southsea will probably believe that they can do that if they can hang in there. They've got the type of players and effort players in their squad to to scrap their way to some points and scrap their way to a win. It will be a dogfight, I believe, and I think the Dogs will outwill and outlast their Rabbitoh opponents and get away with a 22 points to 12 victory over the South Sydney Rabbits at a core on a Sunday afternoon. That's the score I'm tipping. I believe we're going to have a massive match from Reed Marnie, a massive match from Jacob Carraz. I expect to see a lot of Bronson Cherry this week. And yeah, really, really happy with the balance of the squad that's there as the backup. Obviously, Lipboy, Hotboy, and Harry Hayes getting way more comfortable every game they play. And they're going to be huge for us with the energy that they provide. Kurt Mann was massive last week. Our bench was the difference against the Parramatta, I believe. The energy that everyone brought when they were brought onto that field made a huge difference. And the players that stuck it out and ground it out was so important in setting that game up. And that includes Reed Marnie, who tackled his ass off in a side that had the majority of possession, which shows you the lion's share of work he put into that match against his former team. So I expect we will see a massive improvement from a lot of our players um, and a team that'll go out there with a professional performance and defeat the South Sydney Rabbitohs at a core on Sunday in what I believe will be a crowd between 30 and 40,000 people, which will be, I think we'll see just as many Dogs fans there as we will Rabbitoh fans. Let's hope so. That's all I've got for the Dogfathers Keys to victory. The Bulldogs, who have been scoring a lot down the right edge, um, a lot of tries on the left edge. That's where South Sydney will attack us. They're a left edge side, and even though they're missing Cody Walker and Latrell Mitchell, um, they will still try to utilise their strengths in that department. And Jaden Sullivan's playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. So he's one we've really got to watch as a half that was considered to be a really strong running threat coming through, and someone that many clubs were interested in, who's on over $500,000 a season, being currently lent out from the Tigers to the Rabbits. So it's all going to be happening very equal as far as the centre pairings go. But we've got some confident players who are on the verge of Origin selection. You know, all of this, both of our centres are in the conversation for Origin. Everyone knows Montoya had his best game for the Bulldogs on the weekend. Blake Wilson has been so important in so many games for the Dogs. Our backline is humming. Tracy's full of confidence. Toby's, no matter what's going on there, he's been playing his role really well and had a great game on Monday. So, look, if they can go out there, do their professional stuff, they're going to make it very difficult for the South Sydney Rabbitohs to chalk up a win and to really put their season in danger if they can't get over us, who have been weakened by state of origin. Thanks for listening, everyone. Go the Dogs. And yep, and thanks to everyone who supported the channel. Like and subscribe. It really does help. And thank you so much. Go the Dogs.